Alright, this is Boxing with the Truth, and I am the Truth. It's March 29th, 2015, and today we have pro boxer Jamel Herring. How you doing today, Jamel?
I'm doing alright. How you doing today?
I'm pretty good. I appreciate you taking time to do the interview with us.
No problem, no problem.
Alright, I just want to give the fans a few little facts about you. You are age 29 right now?
Yes, sir.
You fight at lightweight?
Yes, sir.
You're actually training and living right now in Cincinnati, Ohio, but you're originally from New York, right?
Yes.
And your pro record is actually 11 wins, 0 losses with 7 KOs, right?
Yes, sir.
And you are a southpaw, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, let's back up a little bit. How exactly did you get involved in boxing?
It's quite funny how I got involved with boxing. I remember back in, I believe, my junior year of high school, I was actually doing bad in academics. I had recently, at the time, got cut from playing basketball on the basketball team for my high school. So, but like me growing up, I always been involved with sports. So I wanted to basically, stay active and busy and do something with myself because, where I was from in New York, hanging out in the streets was a bad thing. So one of my friends, Shanti Hendrickson, he introduced me to his father, who was a coach. And they just brought me down to the gym, and from there, I learned. I just started going, and I fell in love with sport. But on the flip side, they also told me how to be disciplined in and out the boxing ring. So, basically building myself up as a person. I went, I started getting my grades together to better myself as a person because he wouldn't allow me to continue boxing if I was failing in school. But since then I just stick with the sport, and I just stay with it.
Okay, and let's talk about a little bit about the discipline. After that you first got into boxing, in 2003 you joined the U.S. Marines, and you started boxing more in there, and you were part of the All-Marine Corps, the Corps boxing team, and you actually served 2 tours of duty in Iraq, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like, I started boxing around the age of, 15, 16 in 2001. So I think that's I was still young. I was just learning the game, but like you said, when I joined the Marine Corps, is when I basically got more experience in the boxing world and how the amateur system works and everything like that. So most of my I give a lot of my credit for my success to my time with the Marine Corps boxing team.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for serving our country, especially in 2 tours of duty over in Iraq. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And let's actually talk a little bit about your boxing career in the military. You actually got a silver medal in the 2010 military games. You got a gold medal in the 2011 and 2012 Armed Forces Championships. Then later you got a gold medal in the 2012 Olympic Trials, and you got a bronze medal in the America's qualifier, right? In the qualifiers?
Yes, sir. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Say that again?
Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Oh, okay. And I don't know if you knew this fact, but I dug this up, and you might have known this. In 2012, you were the only U.S. Marine to compete at the London Olympics and first active duty Marine to qualify for the U.S. boxing team since 1992.
Yes.
So that's pretty impressive.
I was really proud about that because I was the last Marine to do it, the active duty Marine to do it, was Sergio Reyes, and he was on the same exact team as we all know, Oscar De La Hoya and other great names on the 92 Olympic team. So that was a great honor for me, and to be basically the only Marine in the Olympics, as a whole, that was also something special to me that I still hold dearly today.
Okay, now I want to ask you about a fighter that you actually fought in the amateurs. I think he might have been your first loss in the amateurs. Daniel Jacobs.
Yes.
He actually, I believe, is fighting Caleb Truax. They're fighting for a world title April 24th. That's the same one, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, give me your opinion, because you've actually fought him. What do you think's going to happen in that fight? Are you familiar with Caleb Truax at all?
Yeah, I'm familiar. Caleb, he's a good boxer. But I just think, just the pedigree of, Danny Jacobs, and what he brings to the table just a little bit more. It may be, I believe it's going to start out competitive, in the beginning of the fight. But I think down the stretch, Danny's just going to start pulling away, and talent's going to start to show more.
Do you think there'll be a knockout, or do you just think Jacobs will win by a decision towards the end?
Well, right now I'm leaning towards the decision. But you never know. Like I said, Danny has, he has a great deal of power that a lot of people really don't acknowledge. He's a strong guy. So, anything can happen. But right now, I'm predicting just a decision.
Okay. And you still are signed with Haymon, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. He's been doing a lot of big things lately in boxing, signing a lot of people. He just started this whole Premier Boxing Champions, bringing boxing back to national TV, which is great for everybody, CBS, Spike, NBC. Has there been any talks that hopefully in 2015 we will see you on one of these cards? Because I know you haven't had a TV fight since your debut in 2012.
Yes. I've been talking about it over with my team with Haymon. Brad Owens, who's been really a key figure in our career. He basically anytime something pops up from outside, I always get a call from Brad. And he's always been real honest with me. And they're talking about ESPN date. Probably one of these premier boxing championship days, but they're talking about it to happen in 2015. I'm supposed to be stepping up to a turnaround fight, my next fight anyway. So they're trying to get me out there to the public, but also start building me up as a fighter and putting me in a better competition to entertain the people out there.
Okay, is there any rumors to that you could possibly be back in the ring around May or June?
Right now we're trying to look at both days, but I know for certain. June is around the time that Adrein Broner steps back in the ring. Will probably be around the same day that I get in the ring as well, since we all train under the same umbrella, which is training under Mike Stafford and Coach Levi Smith out here in Cincinnati. So I know for sure, June is a huge possibility. But I'm just trying. Like I told the team, my whole team, I just want to stay busy this year, and hopefully I can get back in there in May, and then turn around and go back in there in June.
Okay, and speaking of Adrein Broner, you work with him a little bit and stuff. You kind of got a relationship with him. So has he, as a pro boxer that's kind of, getting elevated in the sport in a little bit, and you're kind of coming up behind him, has he given you any type of advice as far as once the media kind of gets a hold of you and your name's out there now, but you know what I'm saying, more that it gets bigger once you start getting in title contention and stuff, kind of how to handle yourself and go about your business?
Yeah, even though, people may look at Adrein a certain way in the media, he always gives me, knowledge what to basically expect from the media as you get bigger when time goes on. He's always telling me basically, he also like teaches me to watch out for certain things, and certain people that try to basically get a hold of you as you build up your career and start to gain and earn more money. So, being around him, I see a lot, and I learned a lot. And, like Adrein, people may have an opinion about his character, but if you really get to know him, without the cameras and everything around, he's a very, he's a good guy, and he actually, has a good heart. And yeah, his heart is, in the right place for the most part. His actions, obviously, people don't agree with his actions at times, and they may, show certain traits that people dislike, but when you really get to know him behind closed doors, he's a good guy.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your last fight. It was about 3 weeks ago, March 6, 2015. You went the distance, your first 8-rounder to a unanimous decision, and you beat Hector Marengo. Tell me a little bit about that fight. What did you learn from that fight?
I looked a lot. You know, I know I have put him down in the first round, but I could actually say it was actually great though to go to distance for a change and get those rounds in, because it basically shows where I'm at as a fighter in terms of my conditioning and how my body holds up going the distance. So, you know, I just I was always told, don't always fall in love with your power, because, you know, my last 3 fights, I stopped, you know, my last three opponents in just the second round, each one of them in the second round. So, but I always been told, you know, Mel, don't fall in love with your power too much. You know, if you can't get them out there, always go back to plan B. And, you know, plan B is basically where my amateur pedigree comes in play, because in the amateurs, it was all about, you know, boxing, ring generalship, you know, and scoring your points and getting out of harm's way. And that's what basically I had to go back to. You know, I know after a while I wasn't gonna get him out of there, because you know he was a tough kid, and he was determined, you know, just to basically, you know, stay in there. So I just went back to my old, you know, pedigree ways, which is just boxing and just playing the smart. And I felt good in the end, and that actually helped me a lot in my career, because once my team on Al Haymon's side seen that, and they seen how I performed, and you know how I stayed well content, and I was really composed out there. They basically told me that Jamel, you look like you're ready for 10 rounds of better competition. You know, we're here for you, whatever you want to do. You know, we're going to back you. And then, you know, that was a good feeling, especially coming from not only my own team, but others who seen it who watched the fight as well, such as guys who I looked up to as like Zab Judah. So the Zab out there after my fight, he started looking really good, and he just told me just to keep doing well and represent New York.
Okay. Speaking of better competition, I've heard a few rumors out there, and maybe you can put some light on them, whether they're true or not. And is there any possibility of you fighting Rod Celkon anytime soon?
I don't know if there's any possibility, but it's something that I wouldn't mind, you know, taking them down the road. Like, you know, like you said, recently it was just rumors around talk. You know, people just talking, you know, bringing it up. It even got to, you know, social media, of course, and even Rod Celkon, he even said, you know, he came out and said, if Al Haymon, you know, Al Haymon has the money right and presents a contract, you know, he'll take the fight. But since then, it's been a while now since then, and I haven't heard nothing but, you know, that fight ever presents itself, I'll take it, because, you know, it's a good step-up fight. I'm not taking anything from, you know, Rod Celkon. You know, he has the experience, but he has his own experience. But I feel that, you know, if the fight was presented, I wouldn't hesitate taking it.
Okay, what about jumping up, taking a fight with a guy with a little bit more experience than him? How about like Daniel Estrada?
Daniel Estrada, honestly, I don't know too much about him, but you know, I'm always been type. Even coming from the amateurs, you really didn't have a choice who you fought anyway. So. You know, and I know that the pro side is a business, but if my team feels that, you know, that I'm ready for the fight, or any of those guys, you know, I'll take the fight. You know, that's just how I go. You know, I don't have that Marine mentality. You know, I've been through worse. I've been through 2 deployments in Iraq. So, you know, a fight, you know, isn't as bad. You know, taking a fight with better, you know, competition isn't as bad as, you know, going overseas in harm's way. So I always had that mentality, you know, I've been through worse. I can fight through this, get through this as well. So, you know, if the fight presents itself and it helps me as a fighter, you know, get better and build my career up, you know, I'm willing to take it. Because like I told my team, I don't want to be the guy who's been fighting a bunch of, you know, taxi cab drivers, you know, taking a step back. You know, I don't want to be that fighter. I want to be the fighter that, you know, that gets better with every fight. So if it helps me to get better, you know, I'll take the fight.
Well, I'll tell you one guy I'd like to see a fight, boy, and he's scrappy and he comes to fight, and I think he's down the road a little bit. You know, he's got a little bit more experience than you do, but I'll see you in the ring with this guy eventually sometime in your career. Is Omar Figueroa Jr.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of respect for Omar, but you know, and that's a fight, you know, that I can see myself in the future, you know, going up against. But you know, right now, Omar, you know, we all know he's moving up to 140. And right now, you know, everybody knows that I basically fought in the amateurs at 140. So, going up to 140, and it's not a problem for me. But I just feel right now, I just want to handle my business down at 135 lightweight. And then, eventually there's a fight presenting itself down the road. After I'm done taking care of business where I'm at now, I would love to take that fight because, Omar comes to fight. And that just I think it'll put on the entertainment fight for for the fans out there in the crowd. So I wouldn't mind taking that fight down the road. I think it'll be a good fight.
Yeah, well, that would definitely have to be a TV fight.
Yes, of course, exactly. That's right. And then it'll give more of the public a chance to see who I am and what I'm about.
So, do you actually have any type of rituals or habits before a fight that you have to do?
I don't have anything like a routine set that I usually do, but one thing I am very spiritual, and I always before once I jump in the ring, I always go to a neutral corner. I just ask God, just to give me the strength to get by, and then after the fight, I always pray, and just not only for myself but for my opponents that there was no real damage, taken, because to me, it's still a sport. In the end, it's a sport. I have sportsmanship. I'm a very humble guy. I know, it's the fight game is the turret business, and I acknowledge that, of course. But in the end, the past 2 years, we've seen guys, going in to comas, some even a few guys, losing their lives out there for the sport. So, I just basically pray that, everything in the end just goes well and people continue on their lives and their livelihood.
Okay, now, what's something that your boxing fans don't know about you?
I don't even know that because, a lot of people know that, I served in the military. One thing I can go back to my amateur days is a lot of people they don't realize that when I was on the Olympic team, a lot of those guys had at least over 100 to 200 fights. When I made the Olympic team, I only had about 96 fights. And that's because, being in the military, I had to take time away from boxing because of, my tours in Iraq. So, I didn't have, a lot of experience. People think the way I fight, they think I have a lot of experience, and I respect that. But, people also don't realize that, people really don't know that I started boxing late. I started boxing around the age of 15, 16 years old. And I had to take a lot of breaks from boxing, but I still, I managed to soak up a lot of knowledge to where I was able to still get to the top of my game and eventually chase my dreams. And that's why I tell people, no matter what, don't let anyone, tell you that you can't, what you can't do. Just go out there and give it your all. And like I said, I've been in there with the best. I've been in there with guys like, Frankie Gomez. I fought the WBA world champion Jesse Vargas in the 2007 USA title tournament in California. So I've been, like I said, I did all this. I've been with a lot of top guys in under 100 fights. So that helped me today as a fighter from all the experience that I've been through.
Okay, so who's one person in your life that inspires you in and out of the ring?
That has to be my mother. My mother, she's been there with me from the start. My mother, she's, I consider her as my best friend. She always gives me, the best advice. And even still today, when she has time off from work, you can find my mother in the gym, watching me train and spar. And even after I'm done sparring, she'll call me over to the side and she'll give me, a few tips from little things that she's seen that, that I need to be working on or what I look good on. So, my mother's always been there with me through my whole career. She's a great inspiration.
Okay. Now, do you have any type of favorite activity away from the sport of boxing that you do just to kind of get away from the whole sport and just do something completely different?
Yeah, I do, but a lot of people know, who know me real well, they know that I'm a gym rat. They always know I'm constantly working. But when I am away from the gym, I always, look at the things that's important in boxing, which is, my family. I spend time with my son, my daughter, as much as I possibly can. And when I'm even like when I'm not around them, I try to go out, to do things like go see a movie just to relax and and enjoy life out there. I basically, since I got older, I stopped, doing the whole club scene. Maybe once in a while I go out just to celebrate if there's something, something going on, but other than that, I try to stay disciplined in and out the ring, and I just leave a lot of things alone that I used to do when I was younger.
Okay. So if you had to give advice to a kid coming up right now, coming out of the amateurs, and he's going to turn pro, and you've been in it for a little while, but you've been through a lot of amateur stuff in the military, in the regular amateurs. Now you're a pro. What advice would you give him?
Honestly, depending where they're at, as an amateur, that's where I was starting. Because I always see it like a lot of kids, they always look at, what's going on TV and the bright lights and the fame. And I always tell them that, that isn't the case for every boxer. And it isn't, just as much as it's not also the case for every good amateur boxer as well. Because I know a lot of amateur boxers that had a good amateur run and a good pedigree, but some of the guys I can't really, they started from the bottom. They're starting and they're building their way up now. So I always try to tell them, to basically stay with the amateur game and keep building your resume until that you feel that you accomplish all you can do in the amateurs. Because a lot of kids, out there, they'll win a couple of national titles and they'll think that, okay, somebody's going to sign me. I'm going to get signed with Golden Boy, Top Rank, or Al Haymon. But that isn't always the case. And like it's a business first. And but sometimes it also comes down to what can you bring to the table in terms of market. Like with me, yes, I'm a Olympian, but my team also knows that I have a good military following behind me as well. So I always tell everybody out there, you got to treat the pro level as a business first before anything, and that's just how it is. And I always tell them, don't rush, getting, becoming a pro. When just stay amateur, go for your dreams, which is eventually trying to become an Olympian, and because that's always a great marketing chip right there. So I always tell you guys, don't rush. Going pro because it's not what you think it is.
Okay. Now I know you're kind of a student of the game. I know you watch tape of some old fighters, and you watched a lot of new fighters and stuff, and you kind of pick people apart a little bit. And so I want your opinion on the May 2nd fight, Mayweather versus Pacquiao. What do you think of that fight?
I think it's going to be a great fight because I believe mentally both fighters was on the line. I'm just slightly leaning towards Mayweather, and the only reason why I say that because we seen Floyd in some rough fights, with some great opponents over the years, but I just feel that it's Floyd, his knowledge and the way he makes adjustments is always what basically helps him win fights for the most part. People can say that he's fast and sharp and this and that, but I always believe it comes down to your mentality and how you look at how you take the fight, how you go into the fight. And I always believe that I believe Manny's gonna come strong. I take up from Manny Pacquiao. He's a great fighter. I believe the fight maybe could be even close, depending which Manny Pacquiao we see. And we don't have to, like people always think that, he's not aggressive as he was in 2009, but I don't believe that, Manny has to be that old Manny in order to, to continue having success in boxing. Manny, you can't take that from Manny Pacquiao. Look what he's done in his whole career. So people think, people may say, he doesn't have the punch power that he once had. Yeah, that may be true, but this guy is still a fighter, and Manny Pacquiao fights his heart out. So I think it's going to be a great fight, but I just believe in the end, what Floyd's knowledge to the game, that's going to help him, basically maybe snatch a victory that night. Okay.
So this is going to be my last question, and then I'm going to let you say something to the fans. What are your goals for 2015 for you personally in the ring?
For me personally, like I said earlier, I just want to step it up. I want to fight a little bit more better competition. Like they always said, you don't want to be rushed, but you also don't want to, fall back and go backwards in there. But like towards the end of the year, hopefully I can, grab one of these regional titles and basically put me in the rankings for the following years, to compete for the world title. But like I'm confident, I'm very confident in my team. So whatever my team wants to do, I'm with it. I don't have no complaints from everything that Haymon has done for me. But like I said, I just want to just keep going and just stay basic this year for the most part.
Okay. And you got anything to say to your fans and your supporters for 2015?
I just want to say just stay tuned. You guys will be seeing a lot of me coming up shortly. I thank you all for the support. It's greatly appreciated. And if you want, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jamel Herring, all one word. And the guys who know me very well out there, they always know that if they reach out to me, I always reply and speak to whoever, because that's just the type of guy that I am. And just thank you. That's all.
All right, and the truth has spoken.